Hey, Magic Man here, and today I'm bringing you a game in the Tier 3 German destroyer, the G-101, and I decided I was going to give the German destroyers a go with the new patch that came out, mainly because the detectability of these ships is much smaller now than it used to be. This ship in particular only has a 9-kilometer range with the upgraded range finder, so there's that. So now you won't be spotted halfway across the map when you fire your guns, and that was really the only change to these ships, but it's really going to help them out. So I'm pushing forward here into our base. I just want to protect it from the enemy. But so far from what I've seen of the German destroyers at the lower tiers, they're small, about a standard speed of a destroyer, 35, 36 knots, and they are incredibly maneuverable. This ship in particular has a 2.9 second rudder shift time, which is pretty good. It makes the ship feel good when you're turning or trying to get it to do something. It has a fairly tight turning circle as well, so that's also great. And the torpedoes, they do have a 7-kilometer range, and your detection is 6.5 kilometers, so you can fire these torpedoes from stealth, which is great because from what I can tell, most of the German ships are basically torpedo boats. And while they don't have the raw damage of the Japanese torpedoes, they have a faster rearm. These torpedoes, you have 2 facing the front, and then you have 2 twin launchers in the middle of the ship. They rearm in 38 seconds. You can get that down even further if you take the torpedo rearm skill for your captain. And I'm just going to go ahead and fire these torpedoes because they are 52 knots at this tier. So it's going to take them a while to get there. By that time, that battleship will be in range. As you can see, he's almost already in range right now with him being 7 kilometers away. I'm going to take this opportunity, though, to stick around and actually managed to sink the enemy G-101. You can see his ship sinking right over there. Well, I can say I definitely got lucky. I had no idea that guy was going to be coming around. I thought he was going to go around the other side of that island. But unfortunately for him, he gets taken out. Now that means that the battleship does see my torpedoes coming, and he's not going to get hit. But yeah, that's just part of the game. I'm going to go ahead and pop my smoke screen because this is going to be an opportunity to take this battleship out of the game. He is very overextended. He is way out in front. And unfortunately for him, I'm going to take advantage of his situation and fire some torpedoes at him. He can't keep going forward, so he's definitely going to have to turn. I'm counting on him cutting it very close to that island there. And I'm just going to fire another set right there in case he turns before I expect him to. It's not a big deal if he does. The torpedoes are going to rearm so quickly on the ship that it's not really going to matter that much. And I haven't turned on my smoke screen indicator. I should really do that. I'm just noticing that in this game, and I'm trying out the AP here. Get a couple penetrations there. It actually does fairly good damage because these are 105 millimeter, 102 millimeter guns, so they're quite small. And the smoke screen on this ship does not last but something like 70 seconds. It's not a very long smoke screen. Definitely going to try out the AP on this broadside cruiser, though. See what it does here. Getting some over penetrations, some penetrations, and there's a shattered sail. He just barely angled, and I get one shatter, but he's done for now. So the damage on the AP is pretty darn good on this ship. But I don't think I'm going to be in too many situations where I'm going to be firing the AP at other targets in this ship, just because of how little health you have. You don't really start getting a fair amount of health on your destroyer till about tier 5, and that's when the German destroyers go from having forward launching torpedoes to more of these standard like triple, double sort of setup with their torpedoes, and the ships actually get a lot bigger, so that's unfortunate. I haven't actually got to the tier 5 yet. I'm pretty close, actually. I played the tier 3 and tier 4. I'll have a video on the tier 4 coming up after this one, so stay tuned for that. But just kind of checking out all the German destroyers as I go up the line. And so far, I'm liking what I see. We'll see what happens once I get to a destroyer that actually has the hydroacoustic consumable. I feel like it's going to be pretty powerful, and hopefully I will be able to use it to swing some engagements in my favor. And I'll launch some torpedoes, thinking that that Kaiser is going to continue his track. I'm actually moving in this direction to ambush this Wyoming on the other side of this island, while also trying to keep this island in between me and that Kaiser. That way it doesn't give away my position, and I'm just sort of tracking what this Wyoming is doing. Occasionally switching my torpedo indicator to see what the heck is going on with them. And it looks like the Kaiser actually sort of turned up closer to the island that I'm trying to keep in between me and him, so unfortunately those torpedoes that I launched are not going to hit him. That's okay, because my torpedoes are already back up, and that seems to be a pretty reoccurring theme with the Germans. They don't have the strongest torpedoes, but their torpedo rearm is a lot quicker than most of the other nations, so while you're not going to be doing as much damage, you'll also be able to throw out more torpedoes, which generally means you're going to get more torpedo hits. So I think in the long run, the torpedo systems on the Germans are probably going to be some of the strongest in the game, just due to the fact that you can throw so many torpedoes out into the water. And I'm trying to set this guy up to actually take some torpedoes by having him turn out or turn in. I just want to see what he's going to do. It looks like he's just going to sail broadside onto me. Sorry for you, bud, but that's not going to really work out for you. And I'm going to go ahead and launch some torpedoes. Get that wide angle out of there. And that's one thing I've noticed about the German torpedoes. You actually hit. I feel like I hit more torpedoes with these, but I don't quite get the flooding that I typically do with, say, the American or Russian destroyer torpedoes. Maybe that's just something to do with the German torpedoes. I don't know. They might have a statistic on the chance to flood. I haven't really checked it out, but so far from what I can tell, it seems like about a 50-50 in these lower tiers. If you hit a torpedo, it doesn't always cause a flood, at least not on a battleship. On the cruisers it usually does, but from what I've seen on the battleships, it's not so much the case. Now, this game is still a toss-up. Not quite sure how it's going to go down. Most of my team is over here on this flank with me. It sort of looks like maybe they are going to push back into our base from the other side of the map there, and I'm heading back to kind of to stop that, is what I'm basically doing. I don't want them to cap. I know if at least I'm over there, I'll be able to take pot shots at him and reset the cap while the rest of my team pushes down into the enemy base, if that's what they're going to do. Now, I saw this battleship up here in front of me was going to be in some trouble because he does have his guns facing the other way, but that Kohlberg is going to start doing a number on him here. And it's all going to be due to the fires that he sets, and there's one. I'm trying to figure out right now why the heck nobody is throwing any shells down range at this guy. I don't understand why this battleship behind me is holding his fire, but I understand why the Nikolai can't shoot, because the turrets traverse so slowly on that ship, and he is trying to get him turned around to look at him, but it's just not working for him. And I was going to come over here and give this guy a smoke screen, and this guy actually has 3 fires burning on his ship at the moment. One in the middle, one in the front and back. So he is having a bad go of it, and here comes some torpedoes from a friendly. So, oh, and there are torpedoes. There is the iconic British single-fire torpedoes. As you see, they're not a spread. They're mostly all in the same spot. And unfortunately for Superman here, Superman Sam, he is going to take one of those torpedoes, which forces damage control out, so he can actually put out the fires. But he went from full health to under half just from those fires in that torpedo, so he definitely took a beating. And I'm trying to stay around just in case somebody here needs a smoke screen, but I honestly still don't understand why the hell this Kohlberg is still alive. He's got a battleship chasing him. A Wyoming of all things. I don't know why he's not shooting him, but he isn't. But yeah, that was puzzling to me. I was really hoping one of these battleships was going to take a shot at that guy and wipe him off the map, but it's just not happening. And luckily, I came back just in time to defend because there are some enemy battleships moving in. Now, I feel sorry for this South Carolina because he has not changed his course, at least not as far as I could tell, and that's still holding true. That torpedo indicator is not moving at all. So that guy is definitely sailing a straight line, and if he continues on his present course, he's going to eat like 4 torpedoes, which it's going to suck to be him. And I should have taken a shot at this guy right then and there, but then he would have known that I was here. I didn't really want him to know that I was coming. And sure enough, it looks like those torpedoes are right on course. At this point, nothing he can do about it. He's just going to eat... Well, he only eats 2. Or no, not even 2. He only eats 1 torpedo. So, lucky him. My torpedoes did not all of them landed anyways, but did get a hit. And the Isakaze actually takes him out with his torpedoes. And there are the first set of torpedoes, so I know it's going to take at least about 30 seconds, I think, for this destroyer to reload his torpedoes, so I'm not that worried. Although I was going to turn to the left here once I got close enough to the smoke screen and launch some torpedoes, but I want to make sure that I don't run into my friendly's torpedoes. He's been behind me torpedoing all game. It's really kind of nerve-wracking when you have teammates that do that. And here come another set of torpedoes. Now those were not aimed at me. I just happened to be in a bad place. As you can see there, that Arkansas beta, he got a heads up that those torpedoes were coming. Because I spotted him a little bit before he normally would have, but he just, I don't know. Seems like maybe he tried to slow down and get out of the way, but he still took all of them on the nose, so. Sucks that I couldn't stop that from happening, but you know, I can't control everybody's ship. Maybe there was no way to avoid him anyways. He could have been moving too slow. It's hard telling. But it looks like he's still alive, and our team has taken out the Maogi. So now it just comes down to racing across the map to cap the enemy base, and then this game is going to be over. And that's essentially what happens, except the enemy Kohlberg, on like a sliver of health, tries to confront us in the cap circle and gets wiped off the face of the map by one of the battleships. But I'm not going to make you stay and watch that. I'm just going to cut to the credits. So moving on to the results here, we actually did 49,000 damage. We sunk 3 ships, and we ended up getting the Devastating Strike and First Blood medal out of that. But you know, these German destroyers are not bad since the 6.3 patch, since since their visibility has been reduced, especially since their gun range is only 9 kilometers in these lower tiers. You know, not that many people are going to spot you when you fire your guns, so it's not. They're pretty good. I gotta say, I like the German destroyers, and you can see there a lot of our damage actually came from the torpedoes, not too much from the guns or the flooding. Mainly due to the fact that these torpedoes seem to have a low flooding chance, and your guns don't have a huge fire chance, but you know, they're still pretty good. But we ended up making 50,000 credits after all this, and came out ahead. So Anyways, if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching. So moving on to the results here,